Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
Bill?
What's up?
I don't know if you watched.
Nah, I was coaching.
You were coaching?
Yeah. That's what happens, man. But
let me just bring this up.
Dude.
The United States takes the match against Iran 1-0 and advance to group play.
Which is really cool, except, dude, we are in the weirdest of times right now. I believe we will win. Fuck that.
Listen.
No, dude. It's like, I identify that we might win. I identify that we might win. Shut up. This is sports, man. We're going to win, damn it. We're going to kick your ass. Damn it.
We were, listen, it was a rough time whenever this first came to be. And
I believe that we will win. I believe.
I'm not into soccer. And even every 4 years of the World Cup, obviously we've missed it like one or two. I can't remember how much we've missed, but we've missed a lot. But that game, I went to a bar, like a sports bar, and it was just packed with people at 1:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, in that environment,
it's fun, man.
It was super fun.
When you get around like big fans, I mean, honestly, if you get around big fans in any sport, like when you have some diehard people that like they're just all into it, even if you don't. Like, I mean, I know soccer. I don't have like a soccer team that I follow or anything like that I follow. But if you get around people that are all fired up, it's fun to get into the fanfare of it. But still, as athletes, dude.
Yes.
I believe that we might win.
I mean, I get where you're coming from.
It's dumb, dude. That's dumb. I mean, chant the USA. Hell yeah.
We had a guy in the pub dressed as George Washington, and it was fucking phenomenal.
That's awesome.
It was the best outfit of anybody. But yeah, shout out to USA.
But I am glad that they did well. That is, I mean, that's cool. I mean,
good job.
I do like the fact that it is it's very like old school Olympic-ish to me, where you have a worldwide stage where people are rallying behind, their country and their team, and that's super fun. To me, that's what is. It's always been my passion of sports. Is it takes all the shit that's on the table and knocks it off the table, and just be like, look.
That's the beauty of sports.
2 men enter, 1 man leave, or 2 team enter, 1 team leave, or whatever you identify as. Get yourself in there, and you come out either a winner or a loser, and that's good. That's what it's supposed to be. That's life. It's like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's the part of when I struggle with soccer. I know the rules are different and however it is, but like you're like winner or loser. I was like, unless you play soccer, because there's a lot of ties.
A whole lot of ties.
A whole lot of ties. I know there's ties in other sports. Well, there's ties in the NFL. I think that's really the only one. But no, end to end, it was really exciting. It was a great game. It was fun to watch in a bar with a bunch of people. But then I was like, watching these people go so hardcore, like as if it was Saturday afternoon in their alcohol intake.
Dude, like, that's worldwide. Like they're the gnarliest
because apparently
right.
There's no there.
Right. But you watch some of like stadiums will just, I mean, madhouses, fires.
Like a big match before, like in person.
Nah.
I haven't either, and
I wouldn't even count in one here in the U.S. I wouldn't count it as a big one. Like I would have to go overseas to have like the big one. You know what I mean?
I'm almost afraid to. Like, it's so wild and crazy.
Cool.
Although I guess the World Cup will be here in 4 years in North America. I think it's in 4 that or it's in 8.
Probably won't be in Canada.
No, it is. It's in North America. Yeah, it's they're doing basically Mexico, United States, and Canada will be like 3 host countries, and then the finals will be, I think, somewhere in North America or in the United States. Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe cool. I'll go to my first.
I mean, I dig it. I can get fired up in it. I just don't have a lot of time to just sit around and watch games upon games upon games upon games upon games.
Yeah.
But I do like I think it's cool when people get all fired up. I think it's cool.
It was cool. So shout out to the United States. Well done.
Right on.
That was a very exciting game. Very exciting game. Before we get to what we're here for, because we're going to analyze the program of the Down Under Championship, which went down not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Is that right? And it was live streamed with Jeremy, our boy, and Annie Sakamoto. She flew out there, down there, wherever there, and was a part of their live broadcast. And we're going to go through that programming here in a bit. Before we do, it is Giving Tuesday. If you guys don't know that around I don't know if it's just a U.S. thing or it's a worldwide thing, but partner of the show, Bub's Naturals, they're actually doing something that they do fairly often as far as what their brand really rallies around. And all their profits for today, 100% are going to a charity of their choosing. It's the Protect Our Winters charity. That's the one that they landed on for this one. But if you guys go to bubsnaturals.com, if you want to get a discount, you can use the code GETWITH20. That'll be 20% off for what you pay for. But everything that gets purchased today, 100%, not 10%. It's always 10%, always. Right. But 100% is going to that charity today for that Giving Tuesday. So shout out to Bubs for that. Other partner of the show.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it is just what they do. God, I love them.
Yeah, that's so good.
Just to love them and what they're like, their product. It's a great combination. If you guys go to Element 26, I think Cyber Monday was yesterday. If you guys don't know about a couple of these new products, first off, we've talked about the leather hybrid belt where you get that like thick leather, hard protection with the Velcro strap instead of the buckles. They have a deal right now. It's $100 normally. It's $60 right now. So you've got to element26.co. If you're listening to it after the fact, we're live on YouTube now. Those of you guys listening to us now, it's available.
Get it.
But the IsoComp hand grips, these new bad boys that they came out, are the best grips I've ever worn. They're light. They're still super tacky like their other grips were that we always enjoyed hanging from. They're a little bulkier, more, I would say, industrial. But this
one's thicker or the other ones are thicker?
No, these are thinner.
Ah, that's good.
Oh, they're thinner. They're amazing. It's fantastic. And they had huge discounts right now on their website. So if you guys want to listen and pop over there, we just dropped a link in the chat for what they have going on. And last but not least, we've been talking with Ken from Sherpa Works over the last few years. A lot. And
oh my gosh.
Just again, shout out to Sherpa Works and what they do. Custom apparel. They've done all of our OG Cult Collection stuff. We have our own website, the ogculture.com. But just a big shout out to Ken and Amy and what they've created. I mean, this is a mom and pop shop. They are. They're parents.
Literally. Yeah.
And yeah. It's a mom pop shop. It really is what they do. But they put so much effort into really like giving people what they need and what they want. Whether it's custom apparel for your affiliate, for a competition, just for you. Like it's like, hey, I'd love this t-shirt for a birthday party. For
birthday party. Yeah, totally.
If I could give it a personal example. But if you guys haven't done any work with them, if you are a member at an affiliate or you're affiliate on themselves, please go look them up. It's just sherpaworks.com, SHERPAWERKS. They just do a lot of stuff. We have some things in the works.
Yeah.
Just to let you guys know, we have some open shirts.
Yes.
That we finalized those designs. I got mine
I got mine, and
yesterday.
they're
Did you get yours?
sick.
They are so
They're
awesome.
so
I wonder if
cool.
I have
Yeah.
a preview. Uh,
You have to
ooh,
have it on a you have to have it on the text, don't you?
I think I got it on the text. But we're creating open OG shorts. Gosh, no, I don't have it on my computer. But the open shirts that we created are so awesome. But the extra step is that they're going to give you an option to customize your open shirt for the affiliate that you compete at for the open. So it won't just be like open 2023. You can get your affiliate's name printed on the shirt as well. So if you affiliate owners are out there trying to look up, a lot of affiliates will do this where it's like, okay, we're going to do a intramural competition with the open with our members. First of all, members, sign up for the open. Sign up for the open, be a part of the community, put your $20 in the hat. Don't give a shit where it goes. It goes to CrossFit, by the way, for the entire ecosystem and season. That's where it goes. If anybody wants to know, nobody's just like putting that in their back pocket. But don't be that douchebag at the side of the gym doing all the open workouts with the gym at your Friday night lights and didn't sign up for the open. Yes, I labeled you a douchebag. Don't be that person. Just do it. Sign up.
Just sign up. You're gonna do
Sign
workouts
up.
anyway. Okay.
Yeah. You're going to do them anyways. Be a part of the community. That's also a part. Buy in, so to speak. But I know affiliates they'll make an open shirt for the gym. This thing is perfect. It's perfect. So we can't wait to release that. And then Ken just dropped like 30 different ideas for
Yeah, my phone about melted last night. Holy
I know,
cow.
about doing a exclusive Wadapalooza
It's
version
so cool.
of the OG and cult shirts. And they're so good that I want to make them like our constant
Kinda. They're super dude. He was on fire. That's okay. Little sidestep. Ken is on fire all the time.
Yes.
All of the time. If you get an idea, he'll like shotgun you like 15 different series of that idea. Oh, which one do you like? Oh, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. Bam, bam, bam. And like you have to make sure that you have 2 hours of blocked out time, because otherwise you're going to come back to your phone. You can have like 45 messages. Just because the dude's like, what about this? And here's this one. I just did this. What about this? What do you think about these? Oh, we can do those. We can do these. We can do those. So yeah, he's passion work, man. Passion work.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Has a
So
machine.
shout out to them and all our partners of the show. Just thank you for all the good you're putting out in the CrossFit community. So we really do appreciate it. But yeah, good stuff. All right, let's talk about the Down Under Championship. Now, before we get into the programming, we always like to talk about what the purpose was to better or more fairly analyze the programming. And after watching it go down, it's a field of not as known athletes. It's more of a local Australian community thing. There's a couple Americans in the field, some Europeans, very few. I want to say like 7 total between the men and women, and most is just like Australia, New Zealand.
Right.
I look at this as a huge Australian community event. The prize purse wasn't absurdly big. The competition is relatively small. And I really felt the biggest competition that they had, it was during the team stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big names, the big athletes. And then they had the 3 men and the 3 women format that we saw Wadapalooza pioneer, which I think got the most attention outside of the individual one. And one of the things that I see on their website as far as when I was looking at it overall was, I got to think of it at the top, but it was like excite, unite, and something else is part of their language. And I look at it like a festival like Wadapalooza has. So when I look at the overall purpose of it, I feel like it's just a fun Australian, let's get together, throw down for the community type deal.
Yeah, I think that what they have done, the Australian community in particular, has done is they rally around a competition. Like those guys, they just love to compete. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a beer drinking competition, it could be marbles, it could be
Yeah.
CrossFit, it could be whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just love to get after it. So the way I saw it, honestly, was a glorified local throwdown. I don't feel like they were trying to compete with Rogue or that they were trying to compete with Wadapalooza necessarily. And you're right. I think, talking about how the team had, that's where the quote unquote more excitement was because most of the names that were names were at the teams, at that level to see, guys like Noah and,
Right.
Khan and all those guys. I mean, that's where you got to see that battle, which I think was really, really cool to see. Plus, I mean, just the fact that Noah is on a team with Chandler, like that's already been alluded
we see
to.
that foreshadowing coming.
Right. And so it's really interesting to be like, okay, well, we get to see the beginnings of that. We saw it at Wadapalooza last year with those guys kind of playing and Travis in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hearing Noah talk about it, watching it here. So it's like, okay, the seed has been planted. So now we really get to see, and then you get to see the other people that are competing against that. And, the off season time is definitely, I think, one of the nicest thing is to have these individuals bring down some of the pressure and be able to go teams.
Mm-hmm.
You just have some fun. Have that into the mix of your training rather than trying to peak for the team division at whatever competition you're doing. So I like the fact that it was a much pared down, easier going, local throwdown feel. Event with some people that were there. Made it fun to watch for everyone. And they had a crowd too, man.
Dude, gosh, man, they show up.
Even for that, they have a crowd. It's like those guys are unreal. They just go. They love a competition.
I'm so jealous of their fandom. US is getting spoiled.
Yeah.
And they're getting snooty. I'm trying to think of a less aggressive word that I was planning to use.
Snooty.
Colorado Springs Living already signed up for the Open. Do you guys think CrossFit should have an open t-shirt option for an extra whatever dollars? I can't remember what options there were in the past years. I think that's a great idea. And I think how early they open things up, they can say is like, hey, for an extra $10, because if you think about how much shirts cost to make at thousands, not tens of thousands, like this bulk disc is like, hey, for an extra $10 or 15, would you sign up for get an open shirt? Now, it depends on what it looks like, right? But I don't think it's a bad option to throw out there.
Totally.
I mean, if CrossFit can make $1 per whatever,
it's $1.
$1. Market that times half the people, or to whatever, $5. I don't care what it is, but it'd be cool to see that. But since CrossFit doesn't do that, we are going to do that.
Is doing it. We're doing it.
And I found the photo.
Oh, you did? Yes. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
See that?
Look at Pukey's in there. You get your affiliate in there. You get the year. You get the open, and then the athlete on the back, which was a really good idea of yours to throw the Pukey on the back there, right in the out. Look at that.
Yeah. So this is our open design. Open. Now, if you want to customize your affiliate, it can be there at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The date, and then your athlete tab, ATH Pukey LETE.
Mm-hmm.
So these are going to be available soon. Sherpa Works, you can do regular open. You don't have to customize it, or talk to your affiliate owners and they can customize for your affiliate for the open this year. But yes, we have designed some open t-shirts using the OG logo. Is that people hitting you up right now? Where do I get that? Where do I get So I'm super pumped about those. Okay, so we wanted to lay the foundations there as far as what the purpose of it is. It doesn't change the way we look at the programming per se, but maybe a little bit on how nitpicky we may get, right? If this event is like, this is the most world-class test of fitness to ever grace planet Earth, to rival the CrossFit Games. Okay, well, we're going to probably be pretty strict when it comes to that claim. Here, it's a fitness festival in Australia, basically to give athletes another earning opportunity, whatever degree it may be, get the community together. I mean, it's just for a community building standpoint. How can you argue how awesome this event was for them? But from a program perspective, we'll still go through each event. We'll give our opinions on how they're put together. Now, what was unique about this, different about this, I'll say, not necessarily unique because we've seen this before, is they really retreaded a lot of old regional events when it came down to this. And I want to say they had, how many total events did they have? 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had 7 total events. 6 of the 7 were old regional events, save for one. And one of those 6 had a little twist in it that we'll go through. Now, Bill and I have tried this before where we did, was it last year's semifinal events?
Oh, where we went back and looked at the semis and tried to pull all these together. Yeah.
Right,
It's hard.
Semifinal events and make the best 6 event one we could do. And then we're like, okay, well, don't use the ones that CrossFit gave us. We'll just use the ones that everybody else made up. Then I broke the fucking rules because I ran into the problem of I couldn't actually design a balanced 6 event test using all of these events because there's a lot of repeated movement patterns or redundancy, or I couldn't find a lot of unique balance. And that's going to be one of the things we're going to talk about today was, yeah, this one event was really fun and I'm glad we did it again. However, you have 3 other ones that might have been in the same category or time domain or movement pattern. And as a way to educate other programmers that watch this show or listen to this show is that we're going to point some of those things out where that is a cool concept in theory. Here's maybe where the pitfalls could be.
Yeah, it was when we did ours, we ran into the problem of, dude, they're hammering you on your closet curtains back there. your shower curtain.
If I open this up, you want to be able to see me.
We ran into the problem of our qualifier had to fall in the realm of making sure that the fittest person is getting to the next stage. So that's where we ran into that problem. These guys didn't run into the same problem. They obviously got to have a little bit of fun with it. And this is my own personal opinion. I mean, we did a lot of these regional events. We actually competed in these regional events, around when we were competing at those. So it's cool to see them. I wish they would have had a little spin on all of them. Same idea, but because we are such programming nerds, I wish that it's like you had this opportunity to paint something and you didn't. You just put the Mona Lisa up there and said, we're going to do that one. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of nerding out on it. Again, not a bad of what it was, but I saw, oh, this is going to be a repeat and this one's going to be a repeat. And they could have done. Oh, I really wish they would have done. I just think
I started looking at that.
Fun,
Oh, okay. I see what they did here.
Yeah.
I'll just wait to talk to Bill about it before we.
Totally.
Okay. You guys just keep this coming the whole time. Yes, I realize I pick a different spot in the house every time I do one of these.
You're testing all the acoustics.
One day I was told, my wife told me that when we move into our new house, I will have my own space to work and podcast from.
Hey, that'll be the bathroom.
Which is bullshit. That'll be that room will soon become her room in some. Oh yeah, Corey or Jeffrey. Yes, those are the only ones on there now. But don't buy our.
We're the models, bro.
Yeah,
we're the models. Yeah. Hello.
Don't buy our shirts. Just wait. We'll we're creating a custom idea. And hey, it would be really cool to just say garage gym.
That would be sick. Your address. That would be cool.
Let's put your address on there. Let's make it fun.
That would be fun.
There are 4. Let's see. Michael, there are 4 rooms like that in my house now. Yeah. And this is mine. And this was like, no, you told me I would get my own room. All right, let's go through these events. So we started off with event number 1, and it was Randy. Now, Randy was a regional event. It's also a hero workout, which is just 75 power snatches at 75 and 55, 35K, 25 kg. That was that the opening event of 2014? 14.
Is it 14?
I think it was 14 because that was like Brooke Wells' first year. Or was it 15?
I think it might have been 15.
No, it was 15. So the open event in
Yeah.
2015. Now you can imagine there wasn't a lot of separation with that. And what they did in 2015 is they would walk forward every 25 reps. That's how they basically went from there. But this time there was a little difference here is they did 45 reps and then they would overhead walking lunge 3 sections, which is about, they say 4.5 meters. So say 15 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then 20 reps, 15 feet, 10 reps, which, okay, put a wrinkle in there if you would like. It's not Randy anymore. Don't call it that. You can call it walking Randy or lunging Randy. I know I'm being a little nitpicky and
No, but that's what you do when you put a wrinkle in it.
Not
Title
Randy.
the wrinkle. That's okay.
Yeah, see,
I don't
lunge
think it's
Randy
taken
or
away
walk
from it.
away Randy, but like don't put Randy. That's somewhat. I don't want to go as far as say disrespectful, but flippant to call it a named hero workout when it's not that. Now, someone can say, oh, well, walking forward every 25 reps, like it's Randy. Like walking forward is a lot different than walking lunges in an overhead position.
Yeah.
That being said, okay, fast and furious opening, 3, 2, 1, go. But interesting breakups, the 45, 20, and 10.
Yeah.
I think that encourages people to go unbroken. Like all the way to 45. Like you're pushing it a little bit to get to your 45 in a row. And then you do that overhead walking lunge, which puts more time under tension in that overhead position, right? It makes it more difficult. Good little starter.
No, I like what it is. I like the setup. The walk, you're right. It does force you to stay involved in what you're doing without putting it down, because you don't want to have to pick it back up and then just post it up overhead and walk. You want to get through your set and then take your break after the walking to then get into your next set. I mean, if you're planning on taking any sort of a break anywhere. So it really, there's the walking lunges, as easy as they would normally be, you're going at like all out, full send on those snatches to get through that, and now have to support, not just be able to wing that bar on, to support it and do that walk. So I like what it is.
Yes.
I think that's cool. Again, it's not a big wrinkle, but it is a wrinkle. And so, like you said about with the naming of it, then give it the name of that. Like you can still call it a Randy of sorts. I mean, but just say what you did. Make it a lunging Randy, a walking Randy, a broken Randy, a something. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could have gone, and it's all right. It's all right. Like that's fine, but call it what it is, because it's not the hero. It would be like if we were to do Murph, and I don't know, you threw some swimming in there or something. Well, okay, nobody would say that that's Murph anymore. It's Murph-ish,
right?
But it's not the same. So,
well, and the other thing too is that it's like, oh, well, we don't want to get away from the regional names and keep it as like you've changed another title already.
Yeah,
we'll get to it here in this next event, and you had a non-regional test. Like, what was the problem of?
I mean, shit. That naming the workout is half the fun of programming the workout.
Right.
I mean, that was like the whole acid bath thing. Like that was we would sit down in the beginning and try to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to call this one? What are we going to name this one? It can't just be event 2. It's got to be something. What is it? And it's like, oh, it's this thing. You're climbing, kind of like a monkey, or you're burning your muscle. That's fun. That's part of the joy of the programming, is coming up with a name of whatever it is that you're putting together.
That was one of the things I hated the most about that one year at the games, that Casho didn't name any of the events.
I know.
I was like, why? I know you don't.
7.
He was like, I don't want him to give him. His intention was, I don't want the events to be the story. I was like, dude, that's the fun part. I mean, how many times we're like, dude, you remember Killer Cage?
Yeah.
Push pull.
Dude, you remember event 5?
Burden run. You remember IE5 2021? All right, so that's event number 1. Event number 2, Nasty Girls version 3. Oh, look, you changed the name. Why? Because you changed the workout a little bit.
Yep.
50 single leg squats, 10 ring muscle ups, 10 hang cleans, 80 and 52K, which is what I think it was 185 and what did they use in Nasty Girls 2.0? I can't remember the weights, but heavier than 135 and 95. They're bumping up the weights, changing air squats, the pistols, and the version 3 is coming from, it's normally 7 ring muscle ups, and they bumped it to 10. I love this event. I think it's fun. I think it's all about who can pistol the fastest.
100%.
And
by far the longest part of the workout. Yes, by far.
It's a pistol workout.
Right.
And not that you did a lot of walking lunges or single leg movements, but you just did lunges and now you're doing pistols. And then, I don't know.
I agree with that. I mean, you could put it on another day.
Yeah. Just an observation. Not that you can't do 2 isometric single leg movements at all. You could do step ups if you want to later on a box, and lunges again. The lunges were what nearly irrelevant in Randy. It was more just like how fast can you be without screwing it up.
All right, if you were going to pick it, same movements, same weights, change of numbers, same time frame, same rounds.
30.
30 on the squat, on the pistols?
30 pistols.
15 on the muscle ups, or would you keep it 10?
That'd be my only change. 30,
you
10.
Just make 10. It. Okay.
It's like 30. No one's going to lose time because they're too tall. 30 is doable by especially these athletes. I mean,
yeah,
all these athletes pistols. Now, this was a worse event back in version 2. I think this was also in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I remember. No, sorry. This was in 2014. No. Randy was in 2015. Sorry. This was in 2014. And that was definitely who had the best pistols. It's 150.
Right.
150 pistols. Like, it was ridiculous. So, like even Nasty Girls, when you do that one, now it's just a dead sprint. Nasty Girls just regular 50 air squats, 7 muscle ups, 10 hang power cleans at 135 and 95. That is also an air squat race.
100%. Without a doubt. Especially.
I'll say this. With this caliber of athlete. With this caliber of athlete. Right. Then you needed the air squat break because the muscle ups were the hardest part.
Right. And if you watch Annie and Nicole and Eva do it, they're doing basically strict muscle ups from the ground, from a seated position and from the knee position. So they didn't have the big hip back then.
Air squats off medicine balls.
Yeah. So I mean, you wanted to go, I mean, it was still a lot of air squats back then, but you could go super fast, but everyone was getting held up on the muscle ups. Now, like that number wouldn't hold up anybody.
Yeah.
It was funny because you went one way, switching the pistols to 30 to make it time-wise a little bit closer.
Yes.
And so you shrunk the event. I was literally going the opposite way. I'm like, okay, maybe you go to like keep the 50 and then you bump up the ring muscle ups and you bump up so I just kind of expanded it the other way to kind of blend it.
Okay.
But I can see that either way. The idea, as we would say, is if you're going to have multiple events like this, they're usually, not always, but usually each of the pieces should be approximately the same time frame. Doesn't mean they need to be the same reps, but then one can be that you're able to go unbroken for an X-ish amount of time. The other one, okay, because it's really heavy and it's going to take you about that same amount of time to get through that work of that gymnastic piece. So you went one way, I went another way on it. But I think that's easy too. 30 on the pistols and then 10 and 10.
Yeah, it's in numbers wise, I think 30, you're not going to lose it too much. You're going to come back to the rings a little quicker, so you're not going to recover. I think it puts more, it puts a greater emphasis on the ring muscle ups, with the other two not necessarily being a problem, but being an interference. where ring muscle ups, I think, has a lot to do with someone's gymnastic skill and stamina, strength, and endurance versus someone's height.
Yeah.
Which is when you overset the pistols. But yeah, okay. That's where I was at with that one. So event 1, event 2. So far, so good. I mean,
well, I mean, there's still fun events. I mean,
yeah, and this thing is like this is a fun event, and I think a lot of times when we analyze some of these events is that we're doing it from the lens of these athletes, right? Nasty Girls regular for someone to just get through. It's a long, grueling test because the volume is high for, say, the pistols, if that is what they're doing, and the weight can get challenging at the other end. And 10 ring muscle ups to do that 3 times, it's still 30 total, which is its own test that is yet to be named, even though we do want to call it Briggs. And
oh man, you got that inside track. Use that.
Oh yeah, let me submit that right away.
Yeah, get on that.
But so that's the other thing too, is when we look at this, is me analyzing Fran for the group class is different than me analyzing Fran for the final heat of the CrossFit Games.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at those athletes. All right, event number 3. It was called John Cleary Shuffle, which is 11 sandbag cleans, sandbag carry, 9 sandbag cleans, sandbag carry, 7 sandbag bear hug carry at the end. So the first 2 carries, as I look at the notes, trying to see how far they go. Let me see. Clean, carry, doesn't really say the distance. 3 carries, first 2 anyway. The last one has to be a bear hug carry. Coming off event 2 into event 3, we see cleans in a different form. Mm-hmm. Ground overhead with the sandbag. We did hang power cleans with a barbell for event 2. We also did ground overhead with a light bar for barbell cycling in event 1. This being a sandbag, it's a different odd object test. At these weights, that's 60 kg. It's about 130, 45 is about 100. So a little lighter. So this is what? A sprint?
Yeah, it's fast.
We doing touch and go here?
If I'm looking at any athlete that's like a semifinal style athlete, yeah, touch and go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they have a 10-minute cap. I thought, I mean, what were the times? I didn't even see what the times were on this.
On this one?
Yeah.
Event 3, 3:30 to 4 minutes for your top 10.
Right.
So fast.
Very touch and go.
Yeah. So, we had a sub 3, about a 3 to 4 minute event in event 1, a 3 to 4 minute, I'd say on the safe side, 3.5 to 5 minute one. 3 Nasty Girls times, they were like 9 to 12 minutes as your range. So that mid-range CrossFit time frame, triplet from there. Let's see. So this one is, unless they had like a real reason to have this in there for a more local sentimental thing, I find it interesting that they picked all these regional events and then this was the one that they threw in. Obviously, I don't know who John Cleary is. Maybe I should shut up and look that up so I can speak intelligently on it. The only John Cleary I know is the photographer for CrossFit.
Right. I know.
Like, man, they must really love that guy down there.
He takes such good pictures of everybody.
Yeah, of everybody.
I don't really understand necessarily where it fits. I don't understand the historical significance necessarily, but I'm surprised that it's so light. I mean, again, we already had your all-out sprint.
There was a hill.
They had to run up a hill?
Yeah. That's right.
So Oh, you had to go up.
Remember,
You had to do
it was
sandbag cleans and then go up.
outdoors. Yeah, I think it went up this hill. We could overlook the
Oh,
beach. Remember those shots? That's right.
okay.
Still,
Okay, a steep hill then. But wow, I mean, but still a 10-minute time cap and people are coming in at like 5 minutes.
yeah.
That's okay. VJ, how long was the hill?
As
See
we'll
if we
look at
get
it.
a.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those, like, as we charge along, event 1 and 3, very similar time frame, ground to overhead or over the shoulder as fast as you can with a little interference in between. That's a objective view of what that event was.
And what I'm seeing so far is I'm just seeing. I mean, honestly, a majority motor. I don't see anything heavy. I don't see anything that's gonna slow anybody down.
Mhm.
I mean, the only thing that I see is as um. Well, I mean, and if it is a hill, we just did. So you had to have your overhead walking lunges, a lot of snatches, a lot of power snatches, light but high volume. So you're gonna blow your
Mhm.
back out there. Then you have all the pistols, and then you're gonna be running up a hill.
I mean, low back, glutes on a pistol,
Yeah,
15 meters
just
down.
slam. Okay, 15
Thank you,
meters.
BJ.
Okay.
I mean, that's not a short distance. 15 meters, 45, 50 feet with a carry.
I mean, so far what I'm seeing is I'm seeing like, okay, if you're a, I don't know, a cyclist with some sort of gymnastic ability, you're gonna do really well so far. You know what I mean? Like I see one thing being used a lot of the time so far.
Mhm. All right. As we move from, pure grunt work. Yeah. Grunt
Totally.
work. I mean, Randy's grunt work. This is grunt work. Version 3.0 Nasty Girls is pistol work.
I would have wanted to slow people down a little bit more. Have the hill.
Yeah.
Like the hill's cool. I want it to be heavy enough to where people have to stop going up the hill.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
where you're
I like that the weights are closer,
gumbying
though.
up the hill.
I
Let
will
me
say
get
that. I like that the weights are closer. It's like 150 and 100. It's a completely different test between men and women there.
Oh, yeah, totally. No, I agree. But I think the bag should be heavier for these athletes.
Okay. Both bags.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right. Event number 4, Regional 17.1. This is the opening event of the 2017 Regionals, where is a 20-minute time cap. And we had a 1,200-meter run and then 12 rounds of 4 strict handstand push-ups, 8 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 12 air squats. So very Cindy-ish deal, or I guess it's more, it's Cindy-ish, with a weight vest. So the buy-in with the run, I'm curious if they...
So I think you should do some more squats. How about that? What do you think about that?
So we have some more high-volume squatting.
This time we'll put a
After we
weight vest
did
on you, though.
150. And this is...
They should just call it the leg competition. Legs. We're going to call this one legs.
What's kind of funny is I heard someone else describe this event, and all they talked about was the overhead stuff. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'll reserve judgment until I see it. But I'm with you. It's like, okay, I see legs and low back
Yeah.
so far.
Well, I mean, this event in itself, it's like, okay, we could talk about different things, but like where it's sitting and what we've just done, like, low back and legs, and then legs, and then legs.
Mm.
Yeah.
So this event, opening event, I remember this one pretty vividly was usually we had opening events at regionals. They were flashy and exciting to get into. And this one was quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It was like 3, 2, 1, go. I'm speaking of regionals. I'm not speaking to this competition right now. I'm just telling a story. It was like 3, 2, 1, go, and everybody was on the runners. And I'm not sure if that was the first time. No, I don't think it was the first time we used the runners. Because wasn't the first time we used the runners in 2016 when that started with that like mile buy-in?
Yeah. Yeah,
Remember
because before that, you were having to figure out where you were going to do whatever the run was, whether it was
that's right.
inside or some track or something like that.
But it was like 3, 2, 1 pace.
Yeah.
And
I think I
way.
think I called this one with Sean in Spain, I think.
Oh, did you go to Madrid for this one?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And as a on the broadcast side, what was kind of cool was the run gave us plenty of time to talk about who was coming to play. And it was the first event. I
Oh
mean, there's
yeah,
things that we had
yeah.
to look. So it gave
Oh,
us a
that's
moment to
cool.
do
Yeah,
that. So we had that. But you're right. When you're in it, it's really weird when you have all that pent up anxiety of like, okay, we're, as an athlete, I'm here to compete. Here we go. All right, here we go. Line them up, everybody, and go.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Because it got interesting on the handstand push-ups and chest bar and the squats. You start to see people start to get crushed there,
Hmm.
and that's where they were that's where there was an interesting, a lot more interesting conversation than the 1200-meter run. But it's like they wanted to have something long. I get it. They needed to
Yeah,
have
you got
something
your long
long.
event. You
So
have
there you
a
go.
high volume test outside of the pistol volume that we had in event 2.
Yep.
So yeah, you got your high volume test in here. Push, pull, squat with a little run in between with a vest. All right. Event number 5. As I get past the scorecard, regional event 12.5. Here is where your heavy event comes in. It's the 2012 snatch ladder with the double unders. And as it goes, is every athlete will have 50 seconds to perform 20 double unders and then one snatch. The snatch weights with a 10-second transition. You basically keep going until you miss. So you have a strength test, which is the little double under wrinkle in it. We saw a version of this at the Zealous Games previous to this. Again, we alluded to this regional event. So to see it out here again as your snatch ladder tests. And as strength tests go, and far as this group in this setting, 7 events, one event that is more towards displaying strength. You throw that wrinkle of double unders in there at a snatch ladder. I'm fine with it. I liked it at regionals then. I don't mind seeing it here. Other than I feel like there's a butt coming. We already snatched. Like we snatched in event 1.
Yeah.
And we did hang power cleans in event 2. And then we pulled more from the ground in event 3. We took a small break in event 4, and here we are pulling from the floor again with a movement we've already done before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we say it gets hard to, like, I look at all these events like, okay, that's fun. That was fun. That one was fun to watch. That one's fun to do. But when you stack them all together, you have to look at the big picture. That's what we're saying.
Right.
You got to look at the big picture. And this is where you fall into the trap of, do all of these cool looking pieces fit together in one big picture? This is the lesson we're trying to impart on those that don't understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, because it's not, and you said it earlier, which is I think is important. Like, it's not that this event is a bad event, but they already have taken some tweaks on some of the other events. So when you give yourself that flexibility to modify and adjust, I mean, lean into we want to pay homage to the regional competition, the regional events. Okay, cool. You can say regionals 12 point, whatever it is, 5 as, version 2 or mirrored version. I mean, come up with something so that you can make it fit within the competition that you're trying to do. I mean,
Yeah.
There will be a lot of power snatches on this one at the earlier weights, but when you get up to the heavier weights, people are going to be squatting again. And we have squatted
Right.
in every single event. Every single one.
Oh yeah, I guess we had lunges in the first one. Okay, so question for you. What movement would you put in lieu of the snatch? Same format, ladder with double unders.
Honestly, I would try to do something like, it would be easy to say clean and jerks, even though we already did cleans. It'd be easy to say thrusters, like the thruster ladder one that we've done. But again, we're squatting again. So it's like, okay, if I'm trying to keep us away from squatting, then I would be like, all right, well, I would have to say a double under or a deadlift event.
We pulled from the floor.
Well, I know, but okay, so you could. I don't know if. I mean, the double unders aren't really meant to do anything. It's just something. You could have all the racks up, and you could do a jerk. You could do a a push press or something like that if you wanted to.
I was thinking a shoulders to overhead.
That's true. Yeah, we haven't done that.
For an extra wrinkle, a double.
Yeah, totally.
Just put. I don't want to say it's like, hey, just roll out 20 sets of jerk blocks out there. That's not what I'm saying. Right. And you can make it a rack and just have a team there to re-rack the bar if they need it. Only the athlete has to do it themselves in the moment.
Oh, you would just
I think a shoulder to overhead. Yeah, right. Sorry about that. For like me at the 2010 games where I failed an overhead and then toppled my rack over, and then my games were done. I was cut after that. I'm fine. I'm over it. Okay, so say event 1, Randy, 75 power snatches, ground overhead, lightweight barbell cycling. Event 2, Nasty Girls, 150 pistols, 30 hang power cleans, ring muscle ups. All right, now we're going. Event 3, we have the sandbag cleans.
And
how many total was it? I want to say 27 total sandbag to shoulders with some hill sprint carries. Okay, so then we have event 4, which is the run plus the Cindy variation of handstand push-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, and air squats. And what is it? 4, 8, 12 times 12 rounds. So 48 handstand push-ups, 96 chest to bar pull-ups, and then throw another
144.
Yeah, 144. So this, 144 air squats with a vest, 150 pistols so far. So we definitely don't want to say we should do a squat test because we've tested that in high volume single leg, high volume weighted under fatigue. I think what we've had so far, something like, I think a deadlift would actually be okay, what you're talking about from here. But if you think about the double unders being in there, I think it'd be cool to have them as an interference part of something like a shoulder to overhead.
I agree.
For 1 or 2. Would you rather see 1 or 2?
2.
I like the 2. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's just another. It isn't necessarily the strength piece; it's the stability strength at that point is what you're getting to showcase, especially when you get up to those upper weights because you've already done a handful of reps. Coming down off of a heavy jerk, like that just it pushes the soul out of you. That can be really depending on how heavy you go. So I do like that. The more we're talking about, the more I really, if they did the exact same setup, with a jerk, with double unders, everything, jerk at a double, that would have actually been really fun. That would have been really cool. Yeah. And it would have fit because we haven't done any of those. I mean, like the handstand push-ups, okay, yes, but that's it.
Yeah. That really is it. The maybe the press out from the dips, but like that's a different plane, right? This actually hits your third plane of pressing, right? We had that press down from that vertical plane with the ring dip, and then you had the inverted press, and now we have that double hard. You know what I like too is that for a snatch, what do we say is that it's not just about being strong; it's about being technically proficient. Same thing for a shoulder overhead, especially for 2. You can fake 1, but you better have all your ducks in a row for 2.
Yeah,
I would like that. Obviously, easy to say after the fact, but we're just the landmines that are in hey, let's use a lot of old events and put them together, right? We're just pointing out the landmines, something that like if you can easily throw in walking lunges and Randy, let's have
give yourself that latitude. Give yourself the latitude. You have it.
Grace here.
Yeah, don't put yourself in such a lane that you're like, well, we can't do anything because that's not the event. You can do whatever you want. So, thank
you, Harrison. Ooh, 50 meters up and down with the bag. Yeah, that's gnarly. Still took less than 5 minutes. Yeah, that'd be cool. I actually want to see that.
Yeah,
like a shoulder overhead. All right, we have 2 more events. So the next one will be individual event number 6. And this is one of my selfishly favorite events from regionals, only just because it played completely to my strengths. And it's a chipper. We haven't had a chipper yet. The 1,000-meter Concept 2 bike in regionals, it was a assault bike.
Yeah.
30-meter handstand walk, 10 overhead squats, 500-meter row, 50 burpee box jump overs, 5 overhead squats. The boxes in the last 10 reps changed in height. I think it was like 24 inches down to 12, 18 down to 6. The weight is 100K and 70K, and regionals is 225 and 155. I really liked this event.
Yep.
You've got the bike. It's okay. We're going to sap the legs, and we're going to get inverted and walk on your hands. Now, how well can you do 10 overhead squats at 225 under fatigue and intensity? Cool. Get back on the rower. Navigate that. The burpee box jump overs. You got your fatigue from the legs and the pull on the row. Your heart rate's still jacked up. It is not coming down on the burpee box jump overs if you want to stay ahead of the game. And then that jump to press off the floor, it all came down to those 5 overhead squats. I mean, how many people imploded on those last 5?
The rolling of the dice of wanting to snatch.
Oh, it was so fun.
Was like you saw people like they stepped up like they were at a table, like they're at a either the roulette table or the craps, and they're throwing the dice. All right, let's see what happened. Then I saw many people that were winning. And then all of a sudden, we're like fighting for 7th and 8th because you missed one, and that was it.
Yeah, it's not like you could run back and just reset and do it again.
I really did like it because I like heavy overhead squats personally.
Right.
So I really, really like this event. However, we did light snatches, we did heavy snatches that you're going to be squatting, and then once again, we're overhead squatting. And we're squatting again.
Yeah. And okay, if we squatted before, whatever, right? But exactly what you said is light power snatches, barbell cycling in event 1. We just did a heavy snatch ladder in event 5. In event 6, you come back with heavy overhead squats.
I mean, you're warmed up for the overhead squats, I guess.
Right. You're warmed up and ready to go. But this is the challenge when taking events that you didn't have, per se, control over the programming, and you put them in here. It's like, hey, this one was fun. And look, when you're putting them all together, it is, hey, this one was fun. I remember this one. I've got a great story there. I like that. This was super fun to watch. Yes, I can say that to every one of these events you've put in there.
Totally.
Think of the amazing races we had every year with events like this. Event 1, Randy, just people going absolutely batshit crazy. That's when Brooke Wells came on the scene. She went unbroken and won the event. And it was like, who is this 19-year-old girl winning this at the Central East?
Remember Travis doing that little weird bobble thing he had?
Yes, Travis sword, like weird early on
sort of jerk underneath.
But he beat everybody, right? Right? Okay, so their stories. Okay, talk about Nasty Girls. What other memory do we have? A core memory versus Rich Froning and Panchek.
Yeah.
Like
the bounce. That's when we started seeing the bounce off the legs. That's when that first kind of kicked in. Yeah.
For Rich, what was it? He did the last hang power clean. Same with Scott, but Rich bounced it over his head.
Over his head.
And Scott put the bar down and jumped over, and then they outlawed that for forever.
Yep.
Right, there's a great story. Snatch ladder, like seeing the numbers get put up from people all across the world in regionals, like that was super fun to see. This is an event that was super fun to see too. It's a Jackson Pollock, by the way, Michael. No, not Michael. Sorry. Wad Zombie. The curtain's behind me. Jackson Pollock. Or a mental hospital. It depends. But if we look at what we've seen so far, we're butting up against some redundant movement patterns, movement specifically for a couple of these events, which again is the danger of putting these things together at the way they did. All right, one more event to go. I really did like this event.
I like that event.
I really did.
That is what makes it difficult. I'm sure when they were putting the programming together, they were probably like, "Hey, pick your favorite regional event," and they put them all together. And that way, everyone's happy, and everyone's stoked, and everyone's got their thing in there. But, again, it's not it isn't about the individual. When you're doing a competition, it's not about the individual events. It's about how they all play together. How do they interlock and intertwine, and do they do that with some level of appropriateness? And again, we're not trying to find the fittest by our definition of the fittest in Australia. But if anyone was to have running on top of running on top of running on top of running on top of running, then people would complain about this. And here we are, we're squatting and 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 we're squatting.
Yeah.
And we're snatching, we're snatching, we're snatching, overhead squatting and snatching. So that's the hard part.
Yeah, I can see that. And as we prefaced when the show started, if you're watching in the stands, did you get good races to see? Did you enjoy your time while you're doing it with the athletes having fun? If those answers are all yes, and that was the point of your competition, great. But if we're going to talk about programming and assembling events together with that in mind, that's where we're setting this category off to the side. Hey, was this awesome? Did everybody have fun? Great time? Was the broadcast cool? If everyone is like, yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun. Cool. Great. That's what you want for a live event. But if you're going to go home and program an event, you got to pay attention to some of these things. That's really where we're centering around. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, totally.
All right, final event.
And guaranteed the fans were going to have, they had fun. But I also look at this as I'm like, we know what this feels like. Like, I'm not walking after this.
Yeah.
Problems.
All right, event number 7.
God, there were great races at this regional event too.
Yeah, this is when we had some of the most controversial. Actually, there's nothing controversial about it. The guy, you clench your legs. I'm sorry. They called him on it. Sorry, Jeff. I love you. You're a good dude. You're a good dude. And I love your Saris.
This was Cole Sager's savior right here. This is when they got him into the game jet yard.
This is Con Porter. Of course you would put this in.
Yeah, totally.
This is the epic call. This is what Jeremy Austin, his legendary call of the Con Porter, you legend. There was this event. Of course they're going to put this in here. Of course. 3, 2, 1, legless rope climbs, 20 and 59, thrusters at 95 and 65. Thrusters start first. So this is basically Fran-esque. 21, 15, 9. 45 thrusters, 6 legless rope climbs, dead ass sprint. The times range from 3 to 3.5 minutes, which is the third event we've had in 7 that are sub 4 to sub 5. Okay, so did everybody get a good race? Did they get what they paid for to come to see? I'm sure you did. I'm looking at the times right now. First place, 2:51, 2:56, 3 minutes, 3:08, 3:13, 3:18, 3:18, 3, some good races. Too many short events.
Totally.
Right? Half. It's a good combo of movements. This event by itself, great. Push, pull, squat. Good little squat press overhead with a thruster. You've got the legless rope climbs. This event now, what was it? The year this was? 2016 as well. 6-7 years removed from that. This is getting towards it's too easy.
Yeah, seriously.
For these athletes.
Yeah.
So, okay. Jeez, Nick. I mean, who wouldn't? Con Porter. Not just for the ladies. Not just for the ladies. All right, so we look at this as a whole, top to bottom. The trap or the dangers of taking events that have already been programmed and putting them together is that a lot of the favorite fun events sometimes have very similar components to them. Like some awesome events usually always have some type of overhead squat in them, or a snatch, or some ring muscle ups, or a Fran-esque, a Cindy-esque type movement pattern. I mean, how many times have we said, and you specifically always allude, is like every year at every season, there's an event that is just like Fran in some kind of way. Every year. And when you're assembling an event like this, I know West Coast Classic did it in their semifinal. What was it, 2021? But even
Oh,
they had some,
yeah.
right? I feel like there's another event that tried this.
Wadapalooza tried to do that too. They did versions of.
Yeah, versions of.
Like, they didn't do exact repeats, I don't think, that year. I think they repeated one of their original events, but they tried to lean into some of the regional events from back in the day. But they, but with a little change. And that's what's so great. We have we have reams and reams and reams and reams of amazing workouts to choose from and amazing events to choose from. So go ahead and go with those. But realize that if you are going to connect it with something, then you have to be able to pull yourself back and see the 10,000 foot view of that whole thing that you're designing. It's not just that workout is great, and so it should go in there. That workout is great, and it will be even greater if it joins up with the rest of the crew that's together to make an amazing competition. So you have all those events that have to intertwine with the other ones. You can't just randomly happenstance put stuff together, and I maybe that goes against the unknown and unknowable, like whatever. But if you're looking at the artistic, and this is our opinion, our angle of the artistry of programming, not just 3, 2, 1, go on whatever, not just randomly picking whatever, but creatively putting things together so that your entire event, the whole competition, has a flow from start to finish. It has a plan from start to finish. You're able to see not the same race every single time.
Right.
Not okay, this person did great in the pistols, and now they're going to do great in every single squatting thing that they have for because you already know who the squatters are.
Right.
I think as a programmer, you need to let yourself have some artistic flair and not be afraid to do that. Know what you're trying to do, try to achieve your objectives, but don't let yourself be restricted to like what happened here with a bunch of cool events from past competitions, and then just think that they're naturally going to join up, because they won't do that. Those were a piece of another puzzle. So you can't put 5 puzzles together to make another puzzle. It doesn't always work out the same way. So
yeah, I agree. And the big lesson here is this: it's. Would you say it's harder to go about it this way? Taking events that you won't change,
yes,
and trying to put them together like that.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're taking sculptures, paintings that were already done. You love that sculpture and that painting for what it is, and then you don't want to change the arm on the sculpture because it already looks good that way. But like when you put them all together, it looks stupid. So it is harder to do that because you now have you're kind of stuck in a rut. You have to let yourself be like, okay, we'll go with the main gist of this event, but we'll fix it so that it fits with these other things. Like you have to have someone that's able to the one event that no one ever talks about is the competition as a whole. How do people last through the whole thing? Were they tested in all the different areas? Do all the events come together cohesively somehow to be able to do that sort of a setup? So, yeah, I do think it's harder.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I feel that way too. It's weird.
I know. And I never really thought it was that hard to do until we did our experiment last year.
Yeah, and you cheated.
I did. I had to cheat. I couldn't. And that's the thing. Maybe this is the final point we're trying to make. I couldn't sit back and be okay with the 6 events I was going to put out without cheating. Right. Is that kind of like a good way to wrap it up? Like I, as a programmer and understanding what you need as far as a well-balanced test and something visually appealing, like you got to appeal to that sense a little bit, a small percentage, is that I couldn't do it. I couldn't put the events that we had to use together without cheating. And so I cheated. but I was very open and honest with my cheating.
And
You
I walked
didn't
away.
cheat.
I didn't, and I was pissed.
Right.
Like
Okay.
I was
Exactly.
angry. I'm like, I have no choice. I felt like my arm was being tied behind my back on that. And I'm like, okay, here's what I got, and I don't like it.
Right.
Because I didn't have an option.
Right.
Other than cheating.
Other than doing what I did. Soccer mom ordered the grips. Happy birthday to you. Is it your birthday right now?
Boom, happy birthday.
Is it your birthday? I'm going to say happy birthday anyways. If it's not soon, if it wasn't soon, it was already past. So happy birthday, soccer mom. And enjoy those grips. You will not regret your decision. Yep, tomorrow. All right. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Nice.
Happy birthday tomorrow. So, and I think that's the way I'd like to close things on my end, is that to sit around and put this all together and not be bothered that there's not a balanced test is curious to me. Unless it was like, hey, we're going to have some fun. All of these were fun to do. All of these were fun to watch. And let's just throw some people out there. Because really, was this a serious competition in the off season? No, it wasn't. Was it broadcasting cover? Yes, it was. Right. So people got to at least see what the show you're putting on. Did they get good races? Okay. But if you're out there in the programming space and you're thinking about an event, we just want you to have a guide of things you should look at if your goal is to create a well-balanced, fully fleshed out competition. Yeah, that's fair.
I want to hear what you're going to rate it.
Ugh.
I'll go because I can see how you were tap dancing around that.
He's like, hey, Bush, do you want to sit here and let me dance around you? Don't mind me.
I like what the intent was, and I like a lot of the individual events. I didn't like how they were put together. I didn't really the way that things were adjusted, version 2, version 3, whatever. I think they could have leaned into that more and given themselves that the ability and the freedom to make things fit a little bit more. I'm sure the fans were stoked. I'm sure that the crowd was stoked. I'm sure that some of the athletes that were there were like, and I'm talking not the ones that have the names necessarily, but the ones that got to compete and be around some of the athletes that had some names. I'm sure that they were stoked. The programmer part of me, I had a really hard time. My initial reaction was, oh, come on, like you really didn't change anything. Like all you did was pull from other ones, and it's like you could have randomly hoppered. I mean, maybe that's what they did. I don't know. I didn't like that idea. So for the idea of, I liked what the events were. I didn't like how they were put together. I didn't like necessarily the adjustments. I'm gonna go with a half a thumb. So I'm gonna go like a 0.5, and that's because I like the event. It doesn't. I know that it wasn't overly important. We weren't trying to find the fittest. I just think that there were. From where I'm sitting, there were a lot of things that could have been fixed to make it better. A lot of things, not a few things, a lot of things. But again, not to say that there weren't good races and the crowd wasn't stoked about it and got to see some good races. So
yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Oh, I didn't know this. I was rooting for Jay and Maddie. So Jay Crouch, Maddie Sturt won this. They're also a couple. But thought it was weird that their coach ran the event. I don't know if you programmed it too. Nonetheless, I'll be back because it was fun. Great. That's what I think this event is. If I'm going to
Forte program, I did see that he programmed.
Yeah. It's funny as I thought you were going to go lower so that I could stay above you.
Well, like I said, I liked the events.
Okay, I'm going to go right underneath you.
And that's there's a lot of subjectivity there.
Yeah.
Because we've had connection a lot of those events. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 0.4.
Okay.
because of all the things you said. But I have a problem if you're going to tweak some things and not tweak the other things.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to drop it another 10th from there.
Okay.
Are all these events exciting? Do I have great memories of all these things? If the people watching get a great thing to watch and enjoy themselves with, yeah, great. If I'm looking at a programming side, we didn't put them together in the right way. And if you're going to do, throw lunges into Randy, if you're going to throw an extra 3 muscle ups and tweak some weights for Nasty Girls version 3, then why not do a couple of these other little tweaks in here? Right? Not major tweaks, little tweaks. Push jerk ladder instead of snatch ladder. If that was the only change, like if they did a push jerk ladder, what would you rate this?
Honestly, I about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely be like, yeah, okay, cool. They got that in there, but about the same for the same reasons. I just, to me, it, and this isn't, I'm not trying to like come clobbering down on Rob or anything like that, but
I know that's not, and that's the
like,
thing is like, I don't, I'm just,
if anyone said, hey, I want you to program, like, to me, this took 8 minutes to do. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And I would have said, if there would have been some creative tweaks on these exact same events, then it'd been like, oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, I see what you're doing there. I see how that's going. I see how that's going there.
Soccer Mom, do any of the programmers from the events ever come back to you with comments, positive or negative?
Yes. Yes.
Mostly negative.
Yeah.
I'm working with to get Josh Bridges on the show and talk about his Pay the Man programming, do a little behind the programming episode, which he's all for.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm coming on to shit on you. and your takes on the road programming. He was we have a great I have a great rapport with Josh. We can be very candid with each other in our opinions of certain things, and he didn't hold back on his opinion. I mean, fair, like nice to him is he just slid into my DMs and said it instead of like on a fucking podcast like we do.
Well, okay, but in with that, like that is what we do, is we sit back and anyone can have the same thing on our stuff. I mean, me and you, if we have events, and you've done this with me, it's like, hey, I'm doing this event at my place. Here are my events. Tell me what you think. We've had people that have sent their events to us, and it's like, hey, we're going to do this competition. What do you think of these things? We'll make some swaps on them and some changes and whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's, if we were to sit here and be like, all the events were awesome, they were all done perfect, like, well, then who the hell would listen to our show? No, like, we are sitting, we are taking our creative eye and thinking, this is cool, or what was the point of this? Or it's because there's got to be a why. There's a reason why you're putting it together, and that's what we're trying to do. So, I do love when he gets fired up. I do love that. And the thing is that it's not a taken offense.
I can see how people would take it personally, because we are criticizing what we've always dubbed as artistry.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So
just like every other art critic and food critic and restaurant critic and movie critic, and
it's not personal, even though it's very, very personal for you.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I'm just talking about your workouts.
Well, okay. What we don't do is this, though. And I think that to our goodness, we don't just say that event was stupid. It's stupid because it's dumb. That's they're just doing this again. We'll always say, if you tweaked it this way, or this is the one thing that's hanging us up, if this right here was changed to blah blah blah, like, we give all of these other ideas. And granted, they're all armchair quarterbacking, all of it,
like an art critic.
Like Josh and Chris, when they did the Rogue, and Katie, when they all came together to come up, they came up with it out of the ether, out of thin air.
Yep.
And so it's very hard, us the same, that when you create something and your head's buried in to the work, that there are things that you might not see, or you look over and be like, that's not that big of a deal. Well, we aren't involved in the creation process. We just stand back and look at the finished product, and it's like, oh, that one weird line over there. What is that weird line for?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't even see that line, because they're right in it. They're like this,
That's fair.
and so, it's again, it's an opinion. It's a stand back. It's an armchair quarterback view. Same thing. Like Rob Forte has been in the space for years, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think with that, he could have done some cooler things with those events. I still like the events. I didn't like how they're put together, but I think he could have done, some cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
He had an option that he didn't take. It's okay. I can't wait to get Josh on. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
He's so funny.
he's a good
so
dude.
funny.
He's a good
Literally.
dude.
Good dude.
Yeah,
Good coffee.
Good dudes. All right, team. Thank you guys for joining us. We will are we picking back up with the CrossFit Journal?
Yeah, Thursday.
Journal Book Club? Oh, so we had the 2003 interview with Coach Greg Glassman was last week, which was, man, that one was so fun.
That was a good one.
This next week on our CrossFit Journal Book Club is simply called The Odd Lifts. And
I wonder if virtual shoveling is in this one.
Right? Hammer and chisel. I already see this one right off the front. Oh, God, I remember this movement. First paragraph reads, there are movements that will never make it to your local gym, and they include some of the best exercises ever known. There's a collection of them known as exactly the odd lifts. It would be foolish to ignore these lifts. It would be even foolish to approach them with other than extreme caution. Wow.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks.
Oh, the Inman Mile, Roman chair extensions, Allen lift. This is great. Oh, middle finger press.
Wait, is that a team deadlift right there?
Yeah. And notice it says never, right? Never. You wrote that, right? This will never make it into your local gym. How about CrossFit competition? I'm excited for this. This will be Thursday. So if you guys, I'll drop this PDF in the chat. Those of you that are watching with us live on YouTube, we'll also send this PDF to our Programmatron followers. If you guys want to support the show more than you already do, thank you so much. You can join us at patreon.com/get with the programming. And for $6 a month, you get exclusive discounts to all of our OG gear in the shop, as well as these PDFs repurposed through us. Other than that, thank you guys for joining the show today. We'll see you Thursday for CrossFit Journal.
Bye, guys.